What's going on, you guys? It's Cody Steck. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. As you can see, I got a haircut, we got that buzzed off, and I'm sitting here in my new office. Please bear with me as I'm setting it up. Sound, audio might be a little bit off and lighting might be a little bit off. But what we're talking about here today is the 5 downsides to living in Ogden, Utah. I know that's what you came here for. You obviously clicked on this video because you saw the thumbnail or the title and said, hey, I'm thinking about making a move to Ogden or somewhere nearby. What are the downsides to living there? What do I need to know about that area? And the things I'm going to cover in this video are kind of just based on my opinion. They're based on statistics as well. They're based on other people's experience and opinions as well, that I've kind of taken in and I'm going to, regurgitate to you guys. So this is all information that's kind of just based off of my opinion and what I've seen and heard and, experienced myself. So with that being said, if you are thinking about making a move here to Salt Lake City, Utah, anywhere in northern Utah, even the whole state, make sure to reach out to me. My information will be here on the screen and in the description box below. You can call, text, or email anytime. I'd love to hear from you. Me and my team service the entire state. And even if you already do live here, go ahead and reach out to me. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, we help local people as well. So it's not just relocation. I know that there's some people who already live here in the area that are watching these videos. So with that being said, let's jump into the 5 downsides of living in Ogden, Utah. All right, so number 1 on our list is that Ogden, Utah is actually kind of an older part of town. Ogden, Utah is, one of the major markets in the northern part of the state. If you go about 45 minutes north of Salt Lake, you're going to run into Ogden and the surrounding areas. However, the thing to note about Ogden is it's actually an old city. So especially if you're looking anywhere downtown or in Ogden proper, you're going to find a lot of old houses. You're going to find old bungalows. You're going to find old, commercial buildings, old railroad tracks. I mean, it's just kind of everything out there seems to be a little bit old. Now, of course, if you do go outside the city limits and you start branching out, you can find newer stuff, but especially if you're in the downtown area, it just seems to have this old feel. I don't really feel like it's been totally revitalized just yet. I mean, some people may argue that with me. I just feel like, the city really could use some updates. It could really use some love and, really kind of bring it back to life. So that is happening. And we'll say there are, buildings being torn down and new ones being built and, things are coming around. It's growing. It's going through this revitalization that we're talking about. But I still think it has a long way to go. So something to just kind of note is that, in this day and age, not a lot of people love those older houses. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. If you're looking for a newer home, you probably want to branch out into the suburbs a little bit more. You either want to go to North Ogden, which is nice, or you want to go to South Ogden or even down into Davis County. So something worth considering there. The second downside to living in Ogden is that it's actually a pretty heavy industrial area. There's a lot of manufacturing, there's a lot of shipping, there's a lot of railroad yards. I mean, there's a lot of just industrial industry stuff. So this is something that's worth noting because you really want to know what you're getting into if you're moving to this area. A lot of people will move to, let's say, a city like Lehi and expect to see office buildings on just about every corner, and that's what you see. However, if you're moving to Ogden, you need to expect to see a lot of industrial type stuff, big warehouses, manufacturing, shipping, all that stuff we just talked about. So that's something that I think a lot of people would kind of view as a downside. Now, of course, that's not going to be on every single corner. There's, different zones and districts and stuff where you'll have more of that versus less. But just generally driving around, you're going to see and feel a lot of that stuff in the general vicinity. All right, now as we jump into number 3, I've got a quick favor to ask of you. If you're enjoying this video, consider sharing it with a friend or family member who's also looking at making a move to Utah or buying, selling, or investing in real estate in Utah, especially in the Ogden area. I think they'd find a lot of value with this video, and these are, topics that they might be interested in as well. So go ahead and share that with them. It really means a lot to me to get my name out there, to get my video out there to additional people, and it also will help you provide value to them. So number 3, let's jump into this. Number 3 on our list is that the crime and drug rates are pretty high in Ogden, relatively speaking. Now, there's going to be some parts that are worse than others. There's going to be certain streets, certain parts of town where, the crime's pretty high, and there's kind of a drug problem. I mean, I've personally seen people literally using drugs on the side of the street while driving down, a fairly, normal street in Ogden, right? So this is something that you can see, and it's just something to kind of note. Obviously, there's a lot of parts of Ogden. There's going to be parts on the south end, parts on the north end, or even as you move further east that are going to be much safer. They're going to be, have less of that drug problem. But overall, Ogden is considered to be an area where the crime is higher and the drug use is higher as well. So this is something worth noting. Just be careful if you're making a move here, if you're buying, selling, investing in real estate. You really need to make sure you understand the streets, understand where people, where the rougher parts of town are, where the nicer parts of town are. Just be a little bit more cautious about that, because you don't want to end up in an area where you've got people, committing crimes right outside your front door. Now, the fourth thing on our list, this is something that I've heard from numerous people, and they've actually made the move from Ogden further south into Salt Lake County or Utah County, and that's for the lack of opportunity in Ogden. So I've heard that up north, there's just lack of opportunity for jobs and growth and building a business. I've heard from a lot of people who just say it's just not quite the right environment. Now, obviously that's not going to be for everybody. There's going to be certain jobs and positions where Ogden is actually a benefit for you, right? You've got the pros of, maybe you're in that manufacturing industry. Well, being close to all of that, those warehouses is going to be a good thing for you. But maybe you're in trying to build a tech company. Well, there's probably better options out there for you. So this is just something I've heard from other people. They say, hey, comparatively speaking, if you look at Salt Lake County versus Ogden versus Utah County, you're going to see a lot more opportunity in Salt Lake and Utah County overall. So a lot of people who I talk to are moving here and they're working remote. So maybe that's not a big deal for you to not have opportunities right at your doorstep, within 10 minutes, but it is something worth considering if you think you ever might be changing jobs or looking for new opportunities. I think that relatively speaking, Ogden is going to see a lower amount of those opportunities. And the next thing I want to talk about here is that the schools in the area are not that great. Again, relatively speaking, comparing to Salt Lake County to Utah County, the schools in the Ogden area are going to be subpar. So that's something worth noting. If you've got kids, if you're looking at making, getting your kids into public school, you might want to even consider Davis County or Salt Lake or Utah County. These counties are going to have much better ranking schools. Of course, there's some, outliers where you can get a really good school here or a really good school there, but just across the board, relatively speaking, the schools in Ogden are going to be subpar, especially when comparing to the other great schools that are in Davis County, which is only maybe 20 to 30 minutes, kind of southwest of the Ogden area. So these are 5 things that I think you should consider if you're looking at buying, selling, or investing in real estate in the Ogden area. If you're going to put down roots there, these are things that I think you need to know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are thinking about making that move here or buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. I've had dozens of people reach out over the last couple of weeks, and I absolutely love when I hear from you guys. I've heard from people even internationally, which is pretty crazy to think, people from Australia, Canada, from Mexico, South Africa, literally all across the world, and it's pretty crazy. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.